What's going on, guys? My name's RoboKast, and welcome to something a little bit different. Something that we've actually been planning for quite some time, but, half the people in here, meaning the other two besides me, are never online. Anyways, welcome to the Unturned Podcast that we don't exactly have a name for yet. So before we start, I just want to say if you guys do have a name suggestion for this podcast, feel free to leave it in the comments below because this is probably going to be a pretty common thing. Anyways, guys, I am joined today by TheUnion and Untypical. Both of them are very prominent guys in this community. You can introduce yourselves and fight over who talks next. Go.
Hi.
Ah! Hey, my name's TheUnion. I'm a pretty popular and cool guy. Apparently, I'm Swagger Souls. All right, go ahead, Untypical.
Hi. I make mods.
Well, those, as you can tell, these two guys are pretty much the same person. Yeah, anyways, in today's podcast, we're actually going to be talking about the state of Unturned. We're going to be talking about problems that we have with the game and things that are just wrong and things that need to be improved, and maybe a few things that are good, if you guys ever come up with anything good, but usually negativity is key in anything in life. But we're going to start out by TheUnion. Union, do you have anything in particular that you don't like about this game?
Yeah, there's this one guy I've been watching on YouTube named RoboKast. He kind of just ruins the mood of the game to me. I don't know,
yeah, dude.
Have you ever heard of him?
No, bro. I'm pretty sure he's irrelevant. How about this? How about we start with Untypical? Untypical, how about you say something that you have a problem with?
It's unoptimized as shit, basically.
Yeah, that is true.
That's like my main issue with the game is that you can't make things that look really, really good without it taking a serious toll on like 80% of the people who play the game. So yeah, people who have $4,000 computers aren't gonna feel it as much, but it's a $4,000 computer to play a free low poly game.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. This game is pretty freaking unoptimized, but I don't know. I can't relate to this because I don't experience this problem because I have a decent computer. But like, I could definitely see how people who don't have decent computers suffer from it. I know Union, he plays on a toaster, so Union, how does your toaster handle this game?
Are you joking me? My computer is literally as big as my mom now. It's a fucking beast. Listen, I used to have the shittiest fucking computer before I made videos for Unturned, right? Now I'm a rich boy. No, I'm just joking. So I have a good computer now, right? But I remember playing on a very bad computer. I still had about 30 FPS with no graphics card. I was using built-in motherboard. When people say Unturned's unoptimized, it does kind of make sense, but at the same time, it's not as badly unoptimized as other games are. Like, I can still play Unturned, but if I try to play TF2 on my older computer, it would literally crash. No fucking game would load except for Unturned. So to say it's completely unoptimized is completely false.
See, I don't think it's the actual game. I think the main issue is the maps that are being used because, like, look at Washington, for example. I mean, you're pretty much good on most of the map, but if you walk into Seattle, especially on like a crappy computer, bro, you have all that crap to load in, and I think the assets are just so heavy and all the crap loading in at one time. It's honestly the maps. I don't think it's the game itself because if you're in something like, if you load up the game and you somehow join like a workshop map or something that is basic, like if there's like a wild map where there's no cities, you're not going to lag. All the lag comes from the cities and the loading in of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I actually know why that is because I did research into that. It's the way that Unturned loads its assets because, like, it's also the same reason why it takes so long to load into the game. The assets don't come with the game. It gives you, like, an XML link file, and then it goes and, like, fetches the assets every single time you load in, which takes a significantly longer time than it should.
Wait, what?
But yeah, it reloads all of your assets every single time you log into the game. Like the assets aren't just on the game.
Yeah. What he's trying to say is like you don't actually have the Unity.3D files in your folders because that would allow you to steal them and upload them to the workshop as your own items. So it's basically like a private access to where you can't re-upload the files or access the originals.
So where the heck does it get the files from if they're not in your computer?
Probably a Steam data pool. Like it should pull it away from that to allow you to access the files from the game.
So if you don't have internet, can you still play this game?
No, yeah.
Yes.
No. Yeah.
It downloads to Steam, but you can't access the file.
Okay, so it's not in Unturned, it's in Steam.
Yeah,
I would assume no, I mean, like, you could data mine the files out of it. I've seen Hexadecimal post a lot of stuff about it, but like a lot of the files are security locked behind like what is it? It's encrypted. Most of it's encrypted.
Like the Bloods and the Encrypts, the two gangs.
Shit,
Bro,
yeah.
so what if you're a Blood? How do you get the encrypted files?
Ooh. Yeah, you don't.
Bro, I'm gonna get a
We all
comment
know
that's like, I'm a Blood and I have access to them. But yeah, I do. Oh, I can't talk. I do see what you're saying. The game is kind of unoptimized, but at the same time, I don't feel like that's a major like contributor to something that's wrong with this game. I think somehow, I don't know how, but it somehow needs to be made to where it's better. Yeah, that's a good thing.
Well, like, if we look at 4.0, he's already said, like, he's addressed it himself that the game runs very poorly, and that he's planning on getting it to run better and still look nicer. The issue isn't that Unturned by itself can't run, it's that it doesn't have the ability to load nice-looking things. Like,
Yeah,
Seattle's a detailed, nice-looking city. You crash if you go into it. So yeah, you could build, like, if you look on Seattle or Russia, any buildings that are 2 stories, like the skyscrapers, don't have anything above the first floor. There's no items.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've seen that actually.
It just physically can't handle it. Like, the game would just crash for everybody. So main, like, it's being addressed now in 4.0, which is good. But that's like one of my main strifes with 3.0 is that you can't make things that look really detailed and pretty that run.
Yeah, that's true. And you mentioned how, for those of you who don't know, whenever he said that he says the game runs poorly, he's referring to Nelson, which is a developer. I assume a lot of you guys already know that, but there's a chance you don't. You never know. But speaking of we're going to kind of get off topic here. Nelson's a cool dude, but I feel like a major issue this game is having personally is that the communication he gives isn't that good. And a lot of people say the argument that, oh, he's one guy. How do you expect him to do all of this? I just feel like he doesn't really communicate with the community. Like, yes, he does take suggestions from the community, which is a great trait to have as a developer, but he doesn't communicate. And there's definitely some negativity to this. Okay, so like whenever we had the month break with no updates, Nelson said like once in a dev blog that I'm going to be focusing on 4.0 for the next month or so. See, unless you have specific access to this dev blog, you're not going to know he said that. So I guarantee you half the people are like, where the heck are all the updates at? And I don't know, I just feel like communication could definitely be improved to make this game a little bit better.
Yeah, so, okay. So the fact that people actually think that Nelson doesn't communicate to the community is completely retarded. Listen, I can message him at any time of the day and I could get a response. NS can message him. Anybody that's friends with him on Steam can message him. You can email him and he'll probably email you back depending on how severe or how interesting what you email him is. But the fact, like, people actually think that Nelson doesn't respond to the community, that, okay, you have to literally have less than the average count of chromosomes to believe that. Like,
well, I have 47, so thank you very much.
I'm not being rude to you, slightly.
No,
but he responds to a shit ton of things on Reddit. He'll respond to anybody on Steam. Like I said, Gmail as well, anything emails is that. And also, he's released weekly updates on this game for almost the past 3 years. Can he have a break? Like weekly updates every week with the occasional like 2 to 3 week break? This guy's been pumping out content more than official AAA studios.
Bro, I don't care about the weekly updates. Like, I know the reason he does weekly updates probably is to keep the game alive, which it works. Obviously, the game's still a live game. And I have nothing against Nelson as a person. He seems like a cool dude. I'm just saying, like, communication-wise. So, like, what you said with the friends list thing, well, if you don't have him as a friend, how are you going to contact him? And if you look at a game like Rust, every single week, even when there's no updates, they post a giant dev blog for the current version of the game. Like, yes, he has a dev blog for 4.0, but literally, I feel like right now, I feel like nobody knows what's going on with 3.0. Like, we have all the updates. Like, I really like the fact that he's communicating with 4.0, and maybe he'll improve on that once the game comes out and stuff. But I feel like 3.0 is kind of just being, like, thrown aside. He did say that, yeah, I'm going to keep working on 3.0 when 4.0 comes out, but he doesn't tell anybody what's going on. Like, he doesn't tell people, hey, I don't know. I really feel like he can do better with communication. That's just my personal.
Tanner. Oh, poor Tanner. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to that thing that you said earlier. You said that just because he's a single person, he should still have the ability to communicate with people. Now, that is not technically 100% accurate, because whenever you have a full team of people working on one project, people are assigned multiple tasks and multiple things to do within that company. Now, you're going to have graphic designers, you're going to have gaming programmers, and you're going to have 3D modelers, right? You've got everybody assigned to something. But then there's the community manager. The community manager takes the role of introducing and telling people and updating them what's going on with the game. Now, Nelson's doing all of these things as one person. The fact that he can't tell people what's going on is because the majority of his time is being used to actually create the content for the game. You may not be informed of the content that is coming, but at least you know that it's being made. You don't have to know that it's happening if he's already told you in the previous blogs that it is being worked on. You just have to work off his word. Because as a single developer, there's many things that you have to throw away to actually progress into your future of just developing in general. So 4.0, yes, could take a while to make. And we may not know when it's going to be done or how long it is or what even's being made at the moment. But as long as we have that sliver of we know what's kind of happening, that's enough for me to keep believing into it.
Yeah, well, I'm not like, it kind of sounds like I'm saying like, oh, we need to know what new items and crap's being added. I want to clarify here. I'm not like talking about what's being added and what's coming out with updates. I don't care if he doesn't tell us that. What I'm referring to is that he just needs to go public with certain things that he's doing. Like, for example, pretty commonly, updates come out that break stuff. He doesn't tell anybody that he's going to fix it. Obviously he's going to fix it, so we just assume. But, like, there's never any updates on how long it's going to take to fix. He's looking into it. Nothing like that. Nothing on Twitter. It's just like, for example, with the last update, the new map came out, and it broke chat for everyone with Rocket. Well, people don't know what's going on. If he posts on Twitter or something, hey, this update broke Rocket, the Rocket devs are looking to fix it, blah, 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 people will understand what's going on, because they're over here blaming him for something that's honestly like a Rocket error that he couldn't really control.
Oh, no.
Because nobody knows that what's going on. Like, nobody says anything.
I feel like a lot of people talking about that, Tanner. That actually wasn't Nelson's fault. It was something that apparently, okay, this is what I think that happened, all right? I've seen a lot of people talk about that. They said that it was something that Rocket Mod actually wanted Nelson to add to help them with their chat system or something. I don't know. They were trying to get something to add it in to make their thing work easier.
Yeah,
I don't know. Usually
you
can ask Nelson to get something added to help with whatever you're working, and usually he'll add it. But if it breaks something that you're making, usually it's on you to fix what that is and, get it working with his new update.
Well, okay. Well, it was a suggestion that was posted on GitHub by a Rocket guy for Nelson. So Nelson was the one who worked on it. But we're kind of getting off topic here. Back on the topic of communication, like, if you look on his Twitter, first of all, he doesn't ever post on that, so that doesn't count.
Yeah.
But if you look at, like, his official Discord, he has 5 messages total with thousands and thousands of members. And honestly, Nelson himself actually mentioned that he needs to get a little bit better with communication.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just something to add to that. It's like, that's the main issue, because he's good with communicating now, like, better with saying what progress is being made, and, like,
yeah,
I get that he doesn't want to say anything if nothing significant has happened. Like, if he doesn't want to do weekly updates on the dev blog, because, like, through a week he might not get anything that's, like, significant enough to show somebody. So it'd just be like, hey, things are going the same, and that's understandable. So currently I have no problem with his communication in that aspect. But it's like the last 10 or so updates, like 6 of them have broken something with the game.
Something major, too. Not just like, oh, we broke a car. It's like major aspects. I'm pretty sure, I know there was the chat one. And before that, there was something else that broke like a week before, or the update before. But Union, I just want to say this. Like, there is a post on the GitHub by Nelson himself, and he says that he admits that communication is one of his weakest points as a developer.
I've never really seen that as one of his downfalls, though. It's not really something I've ever noticed about him, Because he does talk a lot to the community. It's just the community doesn't realize how much he actually talks to us. Like, other gaming companies
Where, though?
don't give a shit about the community.
Where does he talk at?
Well, it's like, he does a lot of individual talking, which is nice because it has, like, a personal connection, but he needs to work on talking more to the community as a whole.
Yeah, see, that doesn't help the community if he tells John Smo over there, YouTuber guy, that something, because, John over there isn't, I don't know why I say John, but John isn't going to, like, tell everybody else. Like, again, I just want to clarify to everybody watching this, or Nelson if you're watching this, but I don't have anything against Nelson as a person. He seems like a great dude, and he loves his game. Obviously, he's put a lot of work into this game. I'm just saying communication-wise would probably keep people sticking around a little bit longer, because I know a lot of people who are losing hope at this point and quitting the game.
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like it's not even the fact that he doesn't talk to people. It's the fact that like, it's fine if you go a while without talking to people. It just matters that when something important happens and people want to be addressed, like, you should address it and tell people what's going on. So, like, if people aren't, like, if something's not currently going wrong or there's nothing big, you shouldn't have to, like, force yourself to say something. But if, like, you update the game and suddenly nobody can talk, like, can text chat and people are wondering what's happening, you should probably say what's happening, and just out of, like, concern for the actual community, because if they don't think that there's going to be a solution, then they're more likely to just leave. I know a lot of people have, like, left recently because of all the stuff breaking.
Well, yeah, that's a question about, is that the vanilla game or is that Rocket mod breaking? Because Rocket mod can make your chat no longer work. But if it still
that was Rocket. That was Rocket, but he still needs to tell people, because he's the guy who made it. He's the guy who released the update, so people are thinking it's him.
Tanner, Rocket is a third-party system. It's not owned by Nelson. If Rocket breaks, it's not on Nelson to fix that.
Yeah, but he should at least tell people, because it's the official third-party thing.
Yeah, just address it. Not that he has to fix it.
It's not his responsibility to fix it. It's his responsibility to tell us what's wrong.
Why would you address something broken with your game when you didn't break it? If it's a third party, the third party should come out and say it. So the creator of Rocket mod should be the one to say if it broke the chat.
Here's an example. If I have a server that, let's say, I have a plugin on. Say I have a kit plugin on my server. If the kit plugin breaks, I'm going to tell my server people why it's not working. I'm not going to wait for the kit developer to join my Discord and tell everybody that his plugin's not working.
Why would the creator of the game talk about a third-party device being broken?
Because if it wasn't for that third-party device, a lot of the game wouldn't exist.
Yes, but it's not his duty to tell you that's like that specific plugin system is his responsibility. That's the third-party owner's job to tell you if it's broken.
Well, it's like,
I don't know. I kind of disagree, but Untypical, what were you saying?
I would agree with him if it hadn't been for the fact that, like, a few updates ago, he integrated the Rocket input command as a vanilla command, so, like, he could type slashes instead of putting ats. And then he added Rocket, like, searching for servers that contain Rocket as a specific server quality that you can look for. So, like, he's not directly influencing its creation, no, but he's, like, recognizing its existence and making it easier to incorporate it into the vanilla game. So a lot of, like, we could say safely that more than half of servers have Rocket. Is that, like,
if not more than that,
just at least half? So if Rocket breaks, like, not Rocket plugins, fundamentally Rocket breaks, that's more than half of the servers that don't work. I'm not saying that he should say, like, what caused it, or that he should say that, hey, this broke, but I'm just saying, like, he should say that something's not working, we're trying to fix it. Not say it's my fault or it's Rocket's fault. Just state that there is an issue, because it affects more than half of the people who play the game.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think we've kind of been on this for a little bit too long, and I think we kind of covered everything, so maybe we should transition. But I don't know. We obviously each have our opinions, and those will change based on what the topic is. So I think we should probably introduce a new topic, if you guys don't mind. I mean, we can keep going if you want, but do you have anything else you want to say?
I do, but for the sake of saving 40 minutes, let's just continue.
Okay, well, if you want to come back to it, just say it later on. But Untypical, do you have anything else you want to say? A different topic, not having to do with the community?
Well, past the unoptimization and, like, the actual community itself, I feel like some of the things that are in the game, Nelson doesn't want in the game, but he just added it due to so many people asking about it. Which, I mean, this is, like, a smaller thing. It just probably only bugs me. But it's like he's, like, deriving from what he wants to just make, like, the loudest fans happy. Yeah. And I feel like that shouldn't be the way it is. This is like, I get that he wants the people who play his game to be happy, and that's a good quality to have. But like, it's just tedious stuff, like chewing gum that explodes.
Yeah, that was pretty dumb. I do have to admit that was stupid.
No, that's the perfect thing. That's the best thing that he's ever added for mod makers. That's the child-friendly version of a suicide vest. That's been the best thing for RP videos ever.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's a dumb thing. Like, if people want it, that's fine, and if he wants to do it, that's fine. I'm just saying, personally, like, I didn't understand the reason, but I guess there is a deeper reason to everything he adds.
Child-friendly suicide vest. It's also to keep the game rating still at a lower level for everyone to still access it.
Yeah, that's true. I guess that makes sense.
Fair enough. But, it's not the direction that he wants to take the game. He's just taking it that way because it's what the fans want. Which, like I said, it's more of a personal gripe, but it's like, I feel like you shouldn't have to change what his vision for the game is to please the fans.
Well, I don't think he would add anything if he really didn't want to add it.
Well, yeah, because I know a lot of people have been asking for, like, a regular suicide vest even after the chewing gum was added. But, like, due to the fact that he wants to make it at least semi-kid friendly, he's not going to do that.
See, I think the reason he's... Okay, so one thing I've noticed is that a lot of updates recently have a bunch of random stuff that I don't really think anybody wanted.
Oh, yeah, like socket wrenches.
Yeah, I don't think the point is just because people want it so he adds it. I think he's trying to give the... Okay, so there's the players who like the game for what it is, and then there's the players who are like, ugh, where'd the weekly updates go? I want new items. So he's just adding this stuff to keep the community at bay until the new release comes out. Personally, that's what I think. Mm-hmm. And there's some positives to this, like, yeah, he's pleasing the people who complain all the time. But also, it feels like he's kind of releasing these, like, half-hearted updates, just like, it's like throwing a dog a bone when it's hungry. You keep it entertained until you can get it some food. The food being 4.0, and the bone being the little updates he keeps bringing out. Like, I felt like the Cypress, or the, what is it, Cypherpus, because he spelled it wrong or whatever. I feel like... Wait, what was it?
Well, in survival mode, it's called Cypress. In Arena, it's called Cypress. It's supposed to be Cypress.
See, like, I feel like that update was probably the most disappointing update I've ever had.
On the pause right there.
I'm paused.
You both get a flaw. No.
Wait, hold on, wait. Don't mention that it was made by somebody else, because I do know it was made by somebody else.
I actually have a point to say to this.
Hold on, let Union go real quick.
Okay.
No, yeah, I mean that's exactly what I was gonna say though. This isn't this is not a Nelson game anymore. This is an M2M game now.
That is true. I don't know, but like if he okay, I don't want to get off topic, so I'll come to that later. But
yeah,
back on what I was saying, I feel like that was probably the most disappointing update of Unturned, just because we waited a month without knowing what's going on, and then we get like a map made by somebody else that I don't think anybody wanted. I'm not saying it's a bad map, because it's a great map, but if you think about it, nobody really wanted it.
I kind of wanted it.
You know what? I've got a big fucking sentence for that one, buddy.
Can I go first?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll keep making it longer in my mind.
All right.
Oh God.
I feel like the reasoning behind, like, I get it's an M2M thing and like they wanted to do that, but still, I really like Cypress for what it is, because they didn't want to make a large arena map. They made it to be an arena map and then incorporated it to be a survival map for people who don't like arena.
Yeah, I think it's a great map.
Cypress getting released was kind of my favorite map for a while, because there hasn't been medium maps, and like there was almost a stimulus going on that the only good maps are large maps.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I'm not saying the map is a bad map. I think it's a great map. Probably the second best map ever made besides PEI. I think PEI is still the best. But I just felt so disappointed when that came out. I don't know why. Maybe it's just a personal thing, but I felt so disappointed.
Mm-hmm. Well,
not with the quality of the map, just with the update in general.
I feel like you can also tie it back into optimization, because like actual aesthetics-wise, Germany and Greece probably look the nicest.
Yeah.
But they can't run. You can't run them. Like,
That's
they
true.
look great. They're excellently made, but it's running on a system that can't handle it.
Yeah. Before we get too far, I want to hear what Union had to say real quick.
All right.
I'm kind of cringing a little bit, but let me break this down in the simplest way that I can, the way that I would like to describe it. So, M2N they don't necessarily know how to make a community update. I'm not saying this as a bad thing, but I am saying it as in they need to practice a lot more before releasing this type of content into the game. Now, Greece is a dead map. Let's see, Hawaii is a dead map. Cyprus is reusing assets from a dead map. Now, here's the thing. Cyprus is the lowest attempt to release a map in the span of a few weeks because their little Greece didn't actually live up to their expectations. Now, I'm not trying to be mean to him, but every map they release dies. Now, here's the problem with their maps, though. They're always big. They're gigantic. They're completely useless, and the loot tier progression is everywhere. It doesn't make sense. And loot tier progression, in my mind, should have never been introduced in Unturned anyways, because that breaks the system. Now, the thing about their maps, though, are they're highly over-decorated, and they look more like a workshop upload rather than a pure curated item into the game.
They don't feel like a vanilla map. It doesn't feel like Unturned
it's
anymore.
Made by, like, fucking random people instead of Nelson's pleasing aesthetic style. The reason why PEI in Washington is so popular and still live up to that today is because they're smaller maps, easier to get into combat, and for survival reasons, they've pretty much got everything that you can use. Now, another thing is, I don't understand why they would take the assets from Greece and just recolor one of the roads and then make a new medium-sized map. And no. They didn't stop there. No. They went full Ghostbusters on this shit, motherfucker. They made an arena version. Mind you, it's misspelled as well. Good meme.
Only the survival is misspelled, though.
Yeah, the point is, though, they didn't just take the medium map, reusing assets from Greece, like I said 3 times. They fucking made it survival and then had the balls to upload it as arena as well, just as like a fuck you in your face. Now, that's another problem. Unturned hasn't had a legit arena added into the game since I last wiped my ass. It's been a fucking few years, my boy. Okay? This game needs more arena content because that's the only thing people play nowadays. Kit servers kill everything.
RP or arena?
No,
can I interject here?
RP itself still keeps this game alive.
Yeah, dude, the servers are the reason this game still exists. If it wasn't for the workshop content and servers that have been made and customized because people are getting bored with the regular game, this game would have been dead a long time ago.
Well, actually, I think kit servers kill more than anything.
I'm referring to like workshop customized server with each one with a different playstyle. Like something like bootleg, not to self-advertise, but something like bootleg where everything's custom. It feels like a different game. That's why people play it. If they wanted to play the same game that they've had this whole time, it'd be dead, you know? It's like DayZ. If you have the same game for 2 years at a time, nothing changes, it's gonna get boring.
Can I interject for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
In my opinion, I think that if Greece had been released at the time Hawaii was, all right, it would have done amazingly.
I don't think so.
And
no,
this is why. It came at a time where people were just getting tired of Russia, which added a bunch of new assets, and the only thing that people wanted at that time were just because Greece is a beautiful map. Like, I'm not saying it has custom fucking everything. It looks really nice. It just doesn't fit the style. And when Russia came out, it was the first large map. Like, Nelson was trying to push the boundaries of what maps could be. And I feel like them posting Hawaii just kind of ruined them, because when Hawaii first released, it was terrible.
That was by far the worst map ever made.
It was
nothing against them.
As hell, too.
Nothing against them,
Yeah.
but it was the worst map.
I feel
it was overhyped because, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but whenever you get something like Russia, which was extremely different compared to everything else, you expected something of that standards, and then you got Hawaii, which I don't think anybody liked Hawaii. At least I didn't. Nothing against the M2M team, but I just did not like Hawaii.
I feel like Greece would have lived up to that, because Greece is a lot better than Hawaii. It's not the best. It's my favorite map, but I don't think it's the best map. Because well, it introduced its own things, and it was at a time when people were getting tired of Russia because it had been around a while, because nobody plays on Russia anymore. They only play on the medium maps.
Sick cops, man.
Sorry, I wanted some water, okay?
a lot
don't know
of
how to
people.
drink.
It's like people play on Washington or PEI, a modded map, or your server's dead. Those are the options. And I really don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. What the heck were we talking about? How did we get on the topic of maps? Oh, we talked about... Okay, I mentioned the update. Wait, what was I talking about before that?
You were talking about how Cypress is disappointing.
Professional podcast.
And then
Heck
I
yeah,
said
bro.
that Greece was pretty dank because
No.
I actually really like
It
Greece.
was on the subject from community up to updates being introducing like useless content.
Like, let me ask you a question, Union.
Mhm.
Do you think Greece could have like done much better depending on when it was released?
Hell no, dude. I
Okay.
did a fucking stream on this shit. Hold up, Tanner. I'm about to fucking nut. All right, I did a stream on this fucking map. All right, I was interested in it. We've never heard anybody working on a new map, so I was like, okay, let's fucking try it. 2 seconds into it, I teleport to the NPC place. I walk to the right of the tunnel. I fall out of the map. Okay, I pull out a Lancer and I reload it with a normal military magazine, and I have 20 rockets in a fucking rocket launcher. I go into a vehicle, you put a plate on it, and it flies to fucking space. These boys are releasing updates without even checking for bugs, let alone even caring about it. This shit is never refined, never looked over, and it always has broken on release. There's no fucking trying. It's just a map. This is why I say it looks more like a workshop thing. It's half finished. It's not ready. Don't rush yourself to release something when you have so much time. There's no point.
I mean, the game's going to be around while he's making 4.0.
If
so
there
that's
hadn't
pretty-
been bugs, would that affect your opinion on the map?
Do what?
Like, if there hadn't been bugs with the map and it had been like bug free and it just was what it was, would you have thought differently about it?
Yes, because that means they would have taken the time to actually make the map ready.
Good
Well,
point.
it's like, no, if nothing was different except there were no bugs, like there was no glitches or bugs.
Well, that's not possible, so
Well, I'm
there's
saying,
no way to
except for-
really figure that
Except for
out.
things that are like universal within all of Unturned, there's no like significant bugs except for like
Listen to what you're saying, though. You're asking me if the map was released with no bugs, would it have been good? That shouldn't be a question. That should be like a dream. The map should be ready on release. It shouldn't be a question is it not going to have any bugs? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be perfect? Whenever you release something, it should be done. It should be ready. Not bugs and broken and falling through the map and fucking all this shit going wrong. It should be good to go.
Well, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like they rushed the release. That's not a questionable thing. Like it's what happened. But the only thing that I'm saying is like it was a better attempt they took to it than Hawaii, because Hawaii was straight unfinished in every regard. And I know that as soon as Greece went out, there was people reporting bugs and they were actively working on fixing it. Spyjack in particular was taking all of them. Like I was talking to him personally and he took like 4 of the bugs I said and fixed them within like whenever the next update came out, all the things I said were fixed.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not that they have good intentions when they're making the map. They're not
everybody
just
does.
like slapping it together. But it's just they need to put more effort into bug testing. And I feel like if they did, all of their maps would be significantly more highly recognized.
That's another problem. You know, us boys, all right, this is going to sound pretty selfish, but us boys with the debuggers beret, we have this beret, right? We find bugs. Why don't we ever get invited to come help them find bugs? We're
Yeah,
literally
dude.
some of the people that find the most biggest
There
broken
are
bugs.
so many bugs that come out with updates, and they're all like game breaking. I don't know how they can be missed.
Yeah, so like, what's the point of giving out the debugger's beret? I mean, it's a very nice hat, and I really appreciate Nelson giving it to me and the rest of the people that have found bugs.
Yeah,
for
I
me.
really would appreciate it if I had one.
But yeah, what's the point of it if we don't actually get the help fix updates or releases? Like, we are some of the people that are the most trusted that actually get the hat for helping fix the game. Yet we can't help them before releasing a new update, so we can't actually tell them if there's anything broken. We actually have to wait for it to get in game, and then everybody gets pissed, and we lose another chunk of the community because of another broken update.
Exactly. That's the most accurate thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, that's pretty. Like, there's nothing really to argue about that. That's just you're stating a fact.
I think with a game, obviously since Nelson's a singular developer, it kind of creates this close-knit community that you don't find in other games. If you have a corporate, 20-man team, you're not going to feel the same personal touch as if you have one developer. And with that, he needs to, this is also with communication, but I'm not going back to that topic, be more like intertwined with the community. Let the community test bugs, even if it's not your map. Let the community test bugs. Let the community give feedback, which I think he does take into account. But just let the community help you. It's like there's a wall right now between the community and the developer, personally. But going on with what you guys are saying, where I'm not completely off topic, I think the community should be able to come in and help find the issues, because if not, they're going to find them anyways, like they always do. And it's always after literally people find updates in 20 minutes find bugs within 20 minutes of an update coming out.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's I feel like his main issue is, like he said, he's not good with communication. And him being a solo developer, he doesn't want, it is almost like he doesn't want to ask for help, because he's, that would kind of tarnish the fact that he's a solo developer. But the fact is that the community doesn't, really care. They just enjoy the game and they want to help. And he feels like if he doesn't just work on it by himself, he might lose that recognition.
Kind of. I could kind of see that, but I don't really want to talk about this again, but I'm just going to say one last thing on the communication thing. Sometimes I feel like, again, nothing against Nelson, I just want to clarify, because I still want my billboard in game. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, I don't actually care about that. Maybe I do. Anyways. I feel like sometimes Nelson, he made Dead Zone 1.0 and 2.0. Obviously, between 2.0 and 3.0, it's turned in from a hobby to a career for Nelson. Sometimes he still treats it as a hobby, in my opinion. Yes, Nelson is making a ton of money from the game. Everybody knows that. And if you think because it's free to play is not making money, that is absolutely wrong. So sometimes I feel like he should stop treating it like it's a hobby. And, like I said, take it a little bit more professionally. It's nice having little touches of the non-professionalism, how it feels, like I said earlier, how it feels as if he's, there's a closer relationship to him as a developer, because he's not professional. Okay, that sounded like an insult. Because he's not like all these other big companies. But sometimes he should treat it a little bit more like a company. Not fully. We don't want freaking EA taking over. But I don't know if you guys... I can't complete my sentence here. Do you guys know what I'm trying to say?
I can kind of continue off it
I'm
if you
struggling
want.
here.
I feel like one of the things that Nelson just can't do is one of the things that I like the most about the Mods Too Much team. The Mods Too Much team is willing to ask for help, whereas Nelson is less willing to do so, just because it's such a passion project to him that he doesn't want to he wants to keep doing it himself, like he's been doing it, because it's his hobby and he wants it to be his hobby. Whereas with the Mods Too Much crew, yes, they released the map while it still had bugs in it, but a very, very large portion of them were fixed very quickly because they were open to receiving messages from all the people who were bug testing it. And I feel like if they had done that a week before the map had been released, it would do stellar compared to what it did. Yeah. So they're taking steps in the right direction, and I feel like Nelson and them both have to follow up on it. If they can keep going down that path, then we're going to get much better content than we've been getting recently.
Yeah, okay. This was great, but I think it's time to change the subject again, where we're not on the same thing for too long. Union, you haven't introduced anything yet. Do you have anything in particular that you want to talk about with the game, either positive or negative?
Oh, hell yeah. So, boys, Unturned Skate mod made by your boy right here, coming out soon. Actually, it'll probably be out by the time this podcast is out. Maybe, actually, I got to make a few renditions. So if anybody doesn't know, by the way, I'm actually going to plug myself in right quick before Tanner cuts me off through editing. Unturned Skate is a RuneScape mod in Unturned. It's made by me, your boy, and NSTM Volswin, and a lot of other people. Get ready for it, boys.
I'll put a link to his Discord in the description.
While you're talking about it, can I ask a genuine question? Is it classic RuneScape or the newer RuneScape?
Old school RuneScape.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude, RS3 is a fucking joke.
Hey, this was a smooth transition, Union. Now we can talk about modding.
Talking about
yeah.
Oh, hey. Can I talk about alcoholism?
No. Okay. Talking about modding. Nelson is taking steps in the right direction with modding, but not fast enough. By the time he gives everybody all the tools that they need to be able to mod whatever they want, it's going to be 4.0. Because, okay, in the past, Nelson wasn't that good with modding, and throughout time, he's gotten better, and he's giving people access to more modding tools. But at the same time, not really. And I know you can say that anything's possible with modding, but it literally took Nelson like 4 or 5 months or 3 months or something like that to release a public ability for you to make a train. The trains came out forever ago, and until last update, people weren't able to make trains. Okay, you can go now.
Yeah, okay. I feel like all of these updates were specifically to cater to like the most recent updates. Like it was to cater to modders. He added like a bunch of new mechanics and then only added one item to address that mechanic. But I feel like rather than doing that, if he doesn't want that content to be in the vanilla game, don't release it in the vanilla game, but have the ability to make it available to modders. So if they want to do it, they can do it. But like he can still keep his own vision of the game. Like the blimps, those were great, but you can tell that he didn't want to put in a blimp.
Yeah, that was stupid. I don't get the point of a blimp.
Like they're cool and they make sense for modded, but it just seems stupid in regular Unturned. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, bro, there's no makeshift rafts, but he adds a blimp. Seriously?
Well, actually,
Hawaii has a makeshift raft, but
about the blimp.
Oh, crap.
Mordecai had to message me about that because originally, did you know like a few weeks after the blimp was released, there was no file in the game for you to actually make a mod about it? So Mordecai messaged me to message Nelson about it, and then Nelson was like, "Oh yeah, it's a cool idea. Let me add that."
Yeah.
I was like,
why did he add the blimp to begin with then?
For that, yeah, it's like that's a fucking blimp, dude. Of course, people want to make that.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
Yeah, I feel like if he doesn't want to incorporate a system, but people want to see it, add it as an example file, because you can be damn sure that people are going to actually go in and mod it, because the Unturned modding community is the most active community within Unturned, like unquestionably.
Oh yeah, guaranteed. Like,
and it's like every modder knows each other. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, because they all get in contact to figure out stuff, and like I said, he's going in the right direction with modding, but he needs to go a little faster. We need UI support that's not complicated, custom shaders, as Night Patrol says, custom texture packs, player models, custom chat, etc. You should be able to do all of this. Not saying people have to do it, but you should have the ability to do it, because then people... Don't you interrupt me, young man.
Let the boy finish.
Yeah, let the young child finish talking, Union.
Let the young man.
I wasn't trying to cut you off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's okay. I'll forgive you this time, but next time I'm chopping your head off.
Thank you, Lord.
But I think he needs to do it faster, because modding is the only thing, like I said earlier, keeping this game alive right now. And the faster he does it, the more custom stuff's going to be made, the more custom stuff people are going to see, which is going to make them return to the game that they left a while ago.
Definitely.
Union, no, it's Union's turn.
Oh.
Huh? Oh, I was just saying no 20 times to make you mad.
Oh, okay. I thought there was something important here.
I feel like that's a good transition to actually go into what we want to change for 4.0, since we've kind of talked about our gripes, unless anybody else has something else they want to add.
I do have one more thing. One of the most important things, in my opinion, actually the most important thing Nelson needs to change, personally. Servers.
Okay.
Servers are what make this game a game. I guarantee you, nobody would be playing this if there was only single player. Obviously, it's a multiplayer game. So he needs to give more support towards servers. Since there's no official servers, first of all, servers should be able to officially have more than 24 players. I tweeted about it a while ago, and somebody's like, oh, you can just download a plugin that gives you more players. First of all, it either shows up weird, or if you have more than 24 players, it doesn't show up on the server list. There needs to be official support for servers over 24. Also,
you have something to say about this when you're done.
Like, I don't really know a lot about the technical side of server. I just know about owning servers. They just need to be more optimized. And I know, like Big Boom said a while ago to me, there's no optimized server button he can just click to make it better. But like, it's ridiculous. Like 24 players on a server, you're good. If you get to like 36 plus, you basically require a full dedicated machine to be able to even run it smoothly. You have games like Rust where you can have 240 players not even on a dedicated machine, and Rust is a much more intensive game, and it runs perfect. I don't know why servers run so bad in this game. I don't know the technical stuff about it. I know from owning like 15 servers throughout my time here on this earth, yeah, it's rough, honestly.
Okay, first of all, I can answer what you're asking about why it's so difficult, because it has to tie into with the unoptimization. And then I also have a statement on why that's not going to be an issue in 4.0.
Okay, and then we can go on to talking about 4.0.
Yeah, I'll tie it in. It's good. We got this. I feel like he said this before, but the way that he loads into the server, every player that loads the map loads the entire map all at once. Like they have to reload in all of the assets, and once they log out of the if they log out of the server out of single player, it deloads all of the assets. So for every player in that's actually in your server, they have to reload all the assets, and then it renders the entire map for every single player. So on medium maps, you could even see it. Like after you start getting more and more people, it just steadily gets slower for everybody. And the way that Rust works is entirely different because of the way that they actually have rendering. It's all client side. So each individual player will maybe get like 10 more ping, but you can host significantly more people because of it.
Yeah.
So it's just a trade-off.
One thing, before you go on the topic of 4.0, it's been like an hour. I want to actually get into that in the next podcast. So you can keep talking about this, but don't transition into 4.0. And then in the next podcast, we'll talk about what we want in 4.0.
Okay. Can I talk about something that he's already talking about for 4.0?
Yeah, that's fine, as long as you don't go too much time.
Okay. Well, basically, he's already started adjusting. He's already started adjusting this because he said that he's going to add client-side server hosting, so you can just go click button and then people can join you. So there's local servers. And then he's also discussed that he's going to make it a lot. He's trying to get official servers. He's talked about doing this.
Yeah, there should already be a thing a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't know how many or to what scale, but he said he's going to do that, so it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I was kidding about the 30-second thing, by the way. You had as much time as you wanted, but I mean that was entertaining. I appreciate that. Union, do you have any other comments? Just general comments.
You know, I like for the past 20 minutes I've been messaging Gunturn. We've just been like memeing with each other. But yeah, I've been listening to it. Let's see. Fuck. Yeah, subscribe to the Union on YouTube, yeah.
No, sub to me. I need it more.
No, but really though, yeah, 4.0 for the next podcast would be interesting. Are we just gonna like specifically talk about 4.0, or is there gonna be anything like
We'll ask the comments. If there's anything you guys want us to discuss specifically in the next podcast, let me know in the comments.
Easy content.
Yeah, I can throw this up. The thing that I thought that we could talk about for the next podcast was stuff he's planning for 4.0, whether or not we think it's an improvement, and then if we think it's not an improvement, what could be done, or things we think should carry over, just like those types of things. So yeah, just like leave comments on specifically what stuff you want to see more than other things, so we know what to put more time into.
Sounds good to me. But guys, I assume if there's nothing else, not that, this is going to be the end of the first podcast. I assume both of you guys are done, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good. We're good, man.
Except like, sub to me and stuff.
I was getting there. Calm down, woman.
Okay, Union screamed it.
Yeah, I know, but I was getting there. Ladies, calm yourself. Hold on. Okay, you good? We're good. Okay, I'm going to link both of their channels in the description below. And in future podcasts, we're going to have other guests. So maybe Nilex, me like Big Boom, Nelson. I don't even know. We'll see how this goes. We may have some different people in the podcast. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time, and make sure to subscribe to their channels. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.